That was an absolute bummer, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. What was that? Like an hour and a half rain delay, and you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling like you're going to be able to win this game here tonight. Good clutch offense tonight coming through. And then the rain came, and then Mother Nature just decided to ruin all of it. And then they come back eventually after midnight, and that was that. Man, oh man, it felt like two different games tonight. Honestly, it felt like you had you got the full taste. You had a good win, right? You feel like you're going to bed tonight feeling pretty good. Trade deadline coming up in a couple of days, and then the game came back on, and you're thinking, what the heck just happened, right? It felt like such a long game tonight in a way, and then it just like a long game, but a happy result. It felt like that's what it was going to, and then you just had a quick and painful ending. It's just thinking, like, well, what the heck even just happened? I was even wondering, were they going to call this game at some point? Because I was looking at the weather, and it was showing, at least on my end, you're going to have some pretty good rain, maybe even going to around 1 a.m. So I'm thinking, man, could they end up calling this? Yeah, I'm not sure how the rules work with that. I was thinking, like, well, do they finish this tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know how all that stuff works, but that's just a tough one. I'm still kind of processing all of this. I pretty much had the whole game processed in my head, and then you just had all that happen, right? I mean, I don't even know. My brain is still reeling here, and I'm also very tired. It is also almost 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. I'm a tired boy over here. I feel bad for Jordan Hicks, honestly. I really do. That was my biggest takeaway from that, because, Jordan Hicks, this is a guy where obviously he's got great stuff. He's got good velo. He's a guy that he runs on some adrenaline, right? And he gets ready. He's up for the ninth, and then he has to go sit back down, right? That is never a good recipe for pretty much any pitcher out there, right? If you get hot and then you got to go cold again, and then you got to warm back up, it's just never, it's never a good recipe at all. And he threw yesterday, and that's another tough thing, is that he came through in a big spot yesterday, picking up Aroldis Chapman, and then he just got the short end of the stick tonight. The bullpen, they're running short here. Chapman is out, has the low back issue right now. Cora said after the game that he is feeling pretty good. Also, no Garrett Whitlock. I guess they had one of the worst flights of all time, where I guess they had some major turbulence on this flight, and I guess it rattled like a lot of these, pretty much everyone on the plane, pretty much. But unfortunately, Garrett Whitlock, he came down with a case of motion sickness. I will say I'm kind of that way as well. I've never really dealt well when it comes to like anything motion. I used to not even like going on the swings when I was a kid. It used to mess with me a lot. So I totally feel that. But if he's not available, it's like, what do you do, right? They use this bullpen a lot here tonight. But I do think back to earlier, there was one move with the bullpen that I didn't like in the moment, and I look back on it now and I'm thinking, man, I really don't like what they did there. It is what it is. You were looking like you were getting towards a win here tonight, because they had some really clutch offense coming through here tonight. Roman Anthony batting leadoff. He is not going to be the leadoff hitter moving forward. Alex Bregman coming up with a big-time home run. You're feeling pretty good. Feeling very good at one point, right? You knew it was going to be another one of those, if they ended up pulling out this win, it was going to be one of those where, it wasn't a perfect win at all, but you found a way to get the job done. And unfortunately, that was the way it ended. And then not even just Bregman with the home run, but David Hamilton coming up clutch with the leg, stealing 2 bases there at the end of the game. That ended up leading to the Roman Anthony clutch base hit to give the Red Sox the lead off their closer, Yohan Duran. Just tough, man. Again, a feel-good win, looking like it was going that way, and it just ended the way it did. So, it is what it is. Richard Fitz, I'd say he looked better tonight, but still, there's work to do. There's still work to do there. There were some good things. He had a very short outing here today, 4 innings overall. Still, there's a lot to be desired here. And I'm looking at this rotation for the Red Sox. I'm thinking, man, they have got to make a move at the deadline. I can't stress enough how much they need to add someone to this rotation. And let's get to the bullpen here. to get back to it, I think they need to make another arm or another move for an arm in the bullpen as well. I think you need to do a few things with this team. We'll see what Craig can do. It's always tough. It's the trade deadline is just it's a free for all. It's chaotic. It's a mess. Let's see if Craig can pull it off. But I think he does need to add a two for the rotation, or the best you can to that. I think you got to add a high leverage arm. I think you got to get another one. Someone else that you know you can count on, especially now that Chapman, he's dealing with a back thing. Could that be something that comes up later on? Let's say you end up making it to the postseason and Chapman, he's coming down with a bad case of the another set of back spasms, right? You got to be able to turn to someone else here. Man, I would love it if they can go get someone like a Ryan Helsley, like a David Bednar, someone that you can put in a setup role, but someone that you know you can turn to in a pinch, right? Again, we'll see what Craig can do. He's got a few things, right? A couple of arms. I think you do need another bat. There's a lot of things to do by Thursday. We will see. Speaking of Thursday, I will be live on the main channel all day. If you want all the trade deadline coverage, if you want all the reaction, all the breakdown to everything trade deadline, come join me over on the main channel on YouTube. I'll be live all day. All right, my butt will be sitting right here at this desk reacting to everything that happens and anything that doesn't happen. So if I sound like I'm rambling right now, it's because I'm very tired. Right, I feel like I'm falling asleep at this point. So we're gonna push through this one here tonight. Getting back to the offense, though, sure, you had some clutch offense here tonight, both with Bregman and Roman, the legs of David Hamilton, but they had a lot of missed opportunities as well, leaving a lot of runners in scoring position here tonight. This definitely could have been better here tonight. The Red Sox didn't help themselves out. Another thing with the bullpen as well. A lot of walks again tonight for the bullpen. I believe, let me double check that. That was 9 walks on the night here? Let's pull up the final number. I believe that was, let's see, 3, 5, 6 walks total. I'm sorry, I flipped it upside down. But I mean, the command was an issue tonight for the bullpen. Now, one more thing with Jordan Hicks here, and getting back to the point of why I think they need to add another high leverage arm. Again, you had no Whitlock, so I get that, but still, it would be nice to have another one. In high leverage spots for Jordan Hicks coming into tonight's game this season, 2 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 walks, 8 earned runs. Tough spot, man. It's tough. He has not been very good in these spots, but again, he had everything working against him here tonight, so it is what it is. Let's get into it. Let's break this down. We'll go with we'll go piece by piece here. We'll break down the offense. We'll break down Richard Fitz, and then we'll break down the bullpen as well. Before we go any further, though, we do have a word from tonight's sponsor. I'll be right back.
FT fam, we have a special offer for you if you go to surfshark.com/foul or use the code FOUL at checkout. Get yourself 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. And you can see more information in our show notes. It's surfshark.com/foul. And why should they check out Surfshark VPN, Kratz?
Well, this is a no-brainer because I travel a lot and I'm online. I need to have that security. And as a former catcher, I need someone else to catch my digital threats online. Surfshark's the place.
It's time to take control of your online security. Try Surfshark today and enjoy their 30-day money-back guarantee. Secure your digital world now. Visit the link below. It's in the notes. Start surfing securely. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Check out surfshark.com/foul.
All righty, let's get to it here. We do have one super chat that I want to go over here really quick. Cesar Rodriguez, thank you for the support, my friend. $4.99 super chat. You said here Hicks will get a lot of crap, but honestly, as soon as we went to the delay, I swear I'm falling asleep over here. I knew we would lose. Hicks was set up to fail with no pitchers left. Yeah, I agree, right? It's like I feel bad for Hicks. It's tough because he was put in a bad spot. It's like, what do you do? I mean, the guy got warm. He had to go sit back down. There was no one else they could turn to. It was him. If they had another arm available, I think they would have gone with someone else if that was there. Unfortunately, it wasn't available, and it's on him. And again, he did so well yesterday. I feel bad about that. I really do. It's he had no command. It's tough, man. He just had everything working against him tonight. I do like the potential of Jordan Hicks. I really do. I think right now I'd feel more comfortable with him in a middle relief role. Getting some spots here and there late in the games. But I think with going down the stretch, I would like to add one more high leverage arm. I think that just gives you a little bit more security, especially now with Chapman. Not so sure what's going to happen with the back, right? Don't know if that's going to end up being a lingering thing. Could that be something that pops up later down the road? Again, I would like one more high leverage arm just for more insurance back there. I think Jordan Hicks, I think he could be a dominant middle reliever. So that's just me. Caesar, thank you for that. Appreciate that, my friend, very much. So let's move on here. Let's start off with Richard Fitz. Like I said, he looked better tonight. There were some good things. He threw at a good amount of strikes here tonight, 55% in the zone. The velo was up on the fastball a little bit tonight. The spin rates were up a little bit on the breaking pitches as well. He got 6 whiffs overall. He was fine, I felt like, in the first couple of innings. He was giving up a lot of contact. He was giving up some lineouts, gave up a base hit to Clemens, but he worked through the first couple of innings fine. Third inning, though, he started running into some issues. You could tell he was starting to lose that touch a little bit. He walked Vasquez, and then Deshaun Kiersey Jr., only hitting 115 in his career, hit his 3rd career home run, made it 2-0. Walked Larnach after that, but then he got Castro the force out, and he got Correa into the double play. And then I got Harry once again in the 4th inning. Clemens, he drew the walk. Wallner with a base hit. And then he struck out France. And then he got another big double play. All right, Christian Vasquez into the double play. So that was it for Fitz here tonight. 4 innings overall. 4 hits, 2 earned, a few walks, a couple of Ks. At this point, with Fitz, he's a back end of the rotation guy here. So I think they need to make a move for this rotation, right? Obviously, Bueller, Bayo, Giolito, obviously. But I think you need to make an upgrade. I'd feel more comfortable at this point if Fitz was that 6th man, right? Coming at, long relief. I think I'd be okay with Fitz in that spot. I think he's had one of these years, man, where he was looking really good in the beginning, and then he had the pectoral strain, had to go down for a little bit. He came back up. He got rocked. He went back down. He came back. He was doing all right. And then, he's had just this up and down season, and he's really had to fight off a lot of different things that have come into play. So I commend him for that. But I would like for Fitz to just have this consistent role, and if that's coming out of the bullpen in like a long relief kind of a role, I'm good with that, right? He did look better here tonight. I think there were some good things, but I think Cora made the right move pulling him out early because you could see he was just running into some issues there. But then the offense really picked him up, right? The offense really coming through. Simeon Woods-Richardson on the bump for the Twins here today. They were getting some hits off of him, but they just missed a lot of opportunities along the way. 3 for 14 overall with runners in scoring position here tonight. First inning, you got off to a really good start. Roman Anthony, the new leadoff hitter moving forward, and I'm a big fan of this. Let's talk about that for just a second here. Roman Anthony ranks 10th overall in Major League Baseball in on-base percentage among all players with 150 plate appearances. First among all rookies in Major League Baseball. So Roman, with how much he's getting on base, with how consistent he's been at that, the guy absolutely belongs. He's looking like a force up there. I think this is a good spot for him. He was hitting leadoff a lot in Worcester, so this is not like it's anything new to him. He absolutely, I think, needs to be in this spot. And then Duran, he was batting third. He's been doing a lot of damage with the bat. So I think the 3 spot for Duran, maybe some days, you could hit him at, some other spots, whether that's, I don't know, 5, 6, 4, whatever. Duran, I think just the way he's been hitting as of late, I think it suits him better right now, batting a little bit lower, but still in the middle of the order somewhere. And then Roman, obviously, he sets the tone. And that's another thing. I think Roman he gives you that confidence right out of the gate. And I love that. Just how composed he is, how poised he is in the leadoff spot. I think that's just a great spot for him overall. But getting back to the first inning, Roman with a leadoff base hit to start the game. Bregman with a base hit. But then Duran, Massa striking out. Story with the fly out. 4th inning, Massa, he bounced back, had a base hit. Willier with a base hit. Willier ended up stealing second base, but then Seti striking out. Bit of a, something to pay attention to with Seti not hitting great as of late. He was red hot there for a little while, but only 5 for his last 26. I do wonder if maybe playing more second base as of late is maybe kind of tying into that a little bit. He was just so comfortable playing center field every day. I mean, the guy just looked like he was in just a perfect zone. The bat was going well. He was catching everything out there. So I just wonder if maybe this transition over to second base more often could maybe be tying into it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Something to pay attention to. But then the 5th inning, it was only a matter of time before the Red Sox were going to break through because they were making a lot of contact against Simeon with Richardson. They were getting some things going. They just couldn't execute. And overall, they got 99 pitches from him from 4 2/3 innings. They were definitely working this guy here tonight. Toro with the base hit, Roman with the walk. That sets up Bregman with his 14th home run. I told all of you a little while ago, we talked about this going into the Dodgers series. I just felt like Bregman, he was due, right? He had a big home run in Chicago at Wrigley. I don't know, it just felt like, he'd been making some pretty good contact as of late. Just wasn't getting, really getting these hits to drop, Just didn't quite fully look like he was back yet from the quad injury. Just felt like he was due. And he's been really coming through here. Had the home run against the Dodgers this past weekend. And then homering here tonight. Absolute shot out to left center. Gotta love it. Bregman putting the Red Sox ahead there at that point. But let's get to the bullpen. All right, this bullpen. Murphy, he came in for the 5th. Murphy, he's been very solid this year. He hit Willie Castro, but had a clean inning other than that. He came back out for the 6th. And this is where I think back, if there was a moment. Again, the rain delay, that did not help anything. But I wonder if this was also a bit of a moment that came back to bite the Red Sox. So he came back out for the 6th. Gave up a couple of hard hit balls. Clemens, he lined out sharply. Lewis had the base hit. So then Cora decided to go with Jorge Alcala. Get a bit of a different look. I was thinking to myself, Murphy, I get it. You're seeing some hard hit balls here. Had a base hit there. You had Harrison Bader coming up. He's been hitting pretty well as of late. But I just felt like that was a moment where you could have left Murphy in there, right? He's been a guy that's been able to get through these multi-inning outings. Could you have just left him in instead of going to Alcala there? You could have kind of pushed everyone back a little bit further. And maybe here in the 9th inning, you could have ended up having yourself another arm that you could have turned to, And then if you needed to go with Hicks after, then, you could have done that, right? So I just wonder if maybe he pulled Murphy a little bit too soon. Again, was giving up some hard contact, but could he have gotten the chance to work through that? It is what it is. But Alcala ended up having just a very messy inning. Wild pitch. That moved Lewis up to second base. Had a pass ball that moved him over to third base. He walked Bader. France. Walked France as well. He was able to hold it down. Christian Vasquez had the sac fly. That made it 3-3, and then he struck out Kiersey, who hit the home run earlier. So he's able to get through it. It's just a very messy inning overall. 7th inning, Bernardino, he was a bit messy as well. He walked Gasper, Correa with the base hit. He got Castro to fly out. Then he struck out Brooks Lee. Then Weiser came in. He got Lewis to pop out. Weiser ended up having the 1-2-3. And then the 9th inning, we all just saw it, right? Rain delay. What was that, 90-minute rain delay? Hicks just didn't have it here tonight. I feel bad for him. So it is what it is. Tough night. Just a tough night overall. It's unfortunate, right? They'll be back there tomorrow. He'll be fine. Hopefully Whitlock's better. Hopefully he's feeling all right. And again, you're looking like you're on your way to a win here tonight. It just felt like 2 different games. So we'll be back here for game 2 tomorrow. We are going to go over one bit of news before we wrap things up tonight, but we do have one more word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
Kratz, at some point, we're going to laugh about how healthcare was so reactive and not proactive. And we're starting to change that with Superpower. They believe every human has 100+ year potential, and they're here to help you get there. I'm a big believer in this. I just started the journey, so I'm excited about it. And what do you think?
As a player, you're always looking ways to improve yourself, improve your health. And this is an easy way. Superpowers made it way easier than when I was playing. You had to go get all these lab panels, and it was a long, drawn out, expensive process. But now with Superpower, so this is awesome for me. I'm excited about it.
They'll send a licensed professional to your home, or you can visit a nearby lab. For a limited time, the FT fam can get $50 off an annual Superpower membership by using code FOUL at checkout. Just head to superpower.com and use code FOUL to get our exclusive discount. Your biology decoded, your blueprint activated with Superpower. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and please support FT and tell them we sent you.
All righty, let's get to it here. We actually have one more super chat coming up here from Andrew. My friend, thank you so much. Appreciate it. You said here, we need more veterans. Trade for one. Kelly or Gallen. Keller and Bednar. We have the pieces to make these trades. Also, maybe a bat who doesn't K too much. Well, I agree. I think Merrill Kelly would be perfect. Zach Gallen's been a little up and down this year. No, actually, I'll take that back. He's been very up and down this year. He's had some good moments, but not sure I trust Gallen at this point. I feel like he's probably going to need himself an offseason to really get himself right. Now, I feel like he ends up staying with the Diamondbacks. Kelly, though? I mean, yeah, I could see Kelly getting moved. That's a guy that's a proven postseason performer, solid vet. Easy 2 or 3 in a lot of rotations out there. So, yeah, I agree. I think Kelly would be very nice. You also say here, Keller and Bednar. Now, I think, are you saying that's your second option, Keller and Bednar? Are you saying Merrill Kelly along with Mitch Keller and Bednar? I don't know if that's what you're saying exactly. I feel like Mitch Keller, I wouldn't mind that as a possible fallback option. I don't like Keller very much at Fenway Park. I think he gives up a little too many hard hit balls for my liking. I think he would fit better at, say, a pitcher-friendly park like Citi Field. I think he would even have better success at Rogers Center in Toronto. That's kind of a bit more middle of the pack when it comes to hitter, pitcher-friendly. But I think Keller would fit better overall in a pitcher-friendly park. San Fran, I think, would make some sense too. Bednar, I'd be cool with Bednar. I really would. I think that would be a very good 1-2 punch at the back end of the bullpen. Chapman and Bednar. And I also think with Bednar, I think he has one more year of control before free agency. Yes, so you would have him for next year as well. So I'd be totally on board to get someone like Bednar. It'll cost you something, though. And then you also said here, and a bat that doesn't K too much. I mean, I'm looking at Yandy Diaz. I'm on the Yandy Diaz train. There's going to be some things that come along with that. There's going to be some other circumstances that come up with that. That pretty much means that Romy Gonzalez would, for the most part, be playing just second base, maybe some other spots on days off or whatever. But Romy against lefties would mostly be playing second base. The defense has not been great at second base, so that is something to pay attention to. If you were to get Yandy to be an everyday first baseman, You could do a lefty bat, Ryan O'Hearn, and then, do the platoon, kind of like what you've been doing with Toro. O'Hearn would just be an upgrade over Toro pretty much. O'Hearn has been hitting a little bit better here over the last week. He got cold there for a little while. So I could see that possibly. But I think Yandy, I think that in the end, sure, Romy's defense at second base, that's a little something. But I think with the bat that Yandy would bring to really stabilize the lineup and give you another option there, give you a bit more extension there, I think that would be worth it. And if you also got Yandy to play first base, yes, Romy at second, but Seti, you'd basically be able to do a platoon at second base with Seti and Romy. So, and then your outfield, all of these guys can remain in the lineup, but that, and then Seti, he can play center field against lefties. So, I mean, you are reducing his time out there a lot in that situation, but I think with Yandy, with the bat that he brings, you would also have him for next year as well. So, which I think could be a good thing, but could also cause some problems as well. I think you're looking at where Tristan Casas, if he comes back and he's ready to go, I mean, what do you do there, right? What happens then? I mean, so, but then that could also be a good thing, because what if Casas ends up having some issues coming back from rehab, right? Maybe he ends up needing more time. So then at least you have Yandy, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense to go get him. I'd be okay with Ryan O'Hearn as well. I see in the chat, Andrew, we could also trade Massa. It's going to be very difficult to trade Massa, especially because he hasn't really been hitting very well. He's got an underwater contract. He's a DH pretty much at this point, can play a little bit in the outfield. It's going to be tough to move Massa. I've actually been speculating. I wonder if the Red Sox could maybe even DFA him. I'm going to lean towards them not doing that. But depending on what they do here at the deadline, I wonder if that's something they could end up doing. Maybe. But Andrew, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate this. That's a great segue, Andrew, into our last topic tonight. But if you are watching on Nesson, I do have to wrap it up right there. We are going to be talking about here one possible player the Red Sox could make a move for. So if you want to see the end of the show, come on over to Massa Territory over on YouTube. But everybody on Nesson, we'll see you tomorrow. So let's get to it here. We had one thing pop up here, and that was a little something on Shane Bieber. Now, it's funny because I noticed this the other day. Hold on, let me get this all pulled up here. Let's see. So we had this report. Well, all the talk lately with the Guardians this for today. Well, we had the whole Emmanuel Clase getting put on paid leave or whatever. He's going to be gone for a little bit because they're now investigating Emmanuel Clase and other Guardians pictures as well for possibly participating in some sports betting. Holy cow, man. Like, what are these players doing? If that is true, if that ends up being true, like, what are we doing? They're still talking about or whatever with Luis Ortiz. So I don't know what's going on there. But in other news with the Guardians, we had this the other day. Jeff Passan said that the Guardians have made Shane Bieber available. That was a few days ago. But then we also got this as well. We also got, hold on, let me pull up let me pull this up here because I tweeted it today. I thought this was very interesting. So, Mr. Robert Murray. I think most of you are familiar with Robert Murray. Very good baseball insider that gets a lot of news. But he said here in this, in his, the Baseball Insiders podcast, they have that on YouTube as well. He was saying, didn't sound like he was hearing anything necessarily, or if he did, he wasn't he was being very careful with it. But he said in the clip here that he was connecting dots, because go back to the offseason. Remember, the Red Sox were very in on Shane Bieber. Reportedly, and he even said here in this clip as well, but we remember it from this past offseason, it was looking like Shane Bieber could have gone to the Red Sox, but then the Guardians, they ponied up the money for him to come back, and they ended up getting the deal done. And then the Red Sox ended up getting Walker Buehler. So that was looking like a realistic possibility. And then remember, they ended up turning to Patrick Sandoval as well, who will probably be back next year. But for Shane Bieber and the Red Sox, that was looking like a possibility. And today, Robert Murray was saying, hey, don't sleep on the Red Sox maybe being a possibility for Shane Bieber. And I'm going to say, why not at that? I actually tweeted that out myself here today. Because I was just thinking about it this morning. It was kind of one of those things where, I don't know, it just dawned on me. I'm like, man, the Red Sox, I was having my coffee this morning. I'm like, man, they really liked Shane Bieber in the offseason, and the Guardians, they're open to trading him. Why didn't this dawn on me a few days ago? And I'm thinking, maybe the Red Sox can make a play for him. Now, we just brought up Merrill Kelly a second ago. Dylan Cease has been brought up as a possibility. Sandy, I guess they made a phone call recently on him. You never know what's going to happen with this market. So if worst comes to worst, and, you go after Kelly and you're not able to get something done, Sandy, probably not looking like it's in the cards, maybe even call about Keller, maybe that gets a bit too expensive. I don't think Craig is going to blow up the farm to go get a deal done. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he will trade from a surplus, whether that's Yostinson Garcia. I could see that. The password, unfortunately, I would love him to stay. But, if you're looking at someone that's really blocked, it is the password. So I could see him dealing from that surplus. Maybe even Franklin Arias, where you could say right now he is a bit blocked, depending on what happens, with Christian Campbell. Does he end up playing second, first? Marcelo Meyer, is he going to be the shortstop here in the next year or two? But even then, if Trevor Story ends up leaving, Marcelo Meyer, he could be the shortstop. Arias could be the second baseman. But again, is Campbell going to be the second baseman? I don't know what's going to happen there. So Franklin Arias could maybe be blocked as well, depending on how things shake out over the next year or two. So that's where I think Craig could look to deal. And even someone like Brandon Clark, where Peyton Tolley, that was also some news today. Peyton Tolley now cracking the top 50 on Baseball America. Brandon Clark is also in the top 100 on Baseball America's top 100. But they also just drafted a whole ton of pitchers, and Kyson Witherspoon, their first round pick from this year, is also in the top 100. Yes, he has not pitched one inning of pro ball yet, but Brandon Clark is ranked behind those guys. So has good stuff, good velo, still working on the command. He's walking over 5 batters per 9 down an A-ball, but a guy that could be very intriguing to a lot of teams. So again, I'm looking at that group. Yostinson Garcia, Franklin Arias, Brandon Clark, higher ranked guys. But even then, I don't think Craig would want to trade them for just rentals. I don't think he would want to do that. I think he would only trade them, maybe I'm wrong, I think he would only trade them at least to get a guy that's, for a guy that's at least under control next year. So I could see Yostinson Garcia for Yandy Diaz. I could see some kind of a trade like that, right? Or James Tibbs. That's another one in that same category, right? He's another outfielder in the system that can also play some first base. So he's pretty blocked as well. So like one of those guys who are higher ranked in your system, one of those maybe could be used for Yandy. So, but again, I don't think he's going to give up one of those guys for a rental, especially in the position that they're in. If right now they're just trying to make it to the postseason. If they're going for a World Series, which, yes, of course they're going to try and win one this year. Every team tries to win a World Series every year, but they're just trying to make the postseason. at this point, right? They just got this farm really set up over the last couple of years here. I don't think they're going to blow it up, right, to just go get a rental. So I think just because of the situation, I don't see them giving up top tier prospects to go land, a guy for 2 months. So, but for Shane Bieber, because he's coming back from Tommy John, his value is he's going to have value because obviously he has a track record and there's going to be a bit of a market. But I wonder if Craig looks at Bieber as a guy that if everyone else is getting way too expensive, and he could turn to Bieber. Again, it looked like they were getting pretty close to a deal. And maybe for the Red Sox, they bring him in for a couple of months. Maybe he ends up enjoying his time there, and maybe they could work out something in the offseason if he ends up pitching well. So I see the possibility of Shane Bieber with the Red Sox. I would put it at more than 50%. I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing. I really do see that being realistic. Again, I think just depending on how the market shakes out. I would rather have Kelly. That would be my first choice if you were to go for a rental. A cost-controlled guy. I think, maybe Sandy, who's under a pretty cheap contract. Maybe Keller. Whatever. But if Shane Bieber ended up being the guy that ends up, he's like that happy medium kind of a trade where, yes, he's coming back from Tommy John, but he does have the track record, and it probably wouldn't cost you a ton in prospects. I could see that maybe being the move. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on this, ladies and gentlemen. We have a couple of more days until the deadline. So, everyone, I'm out of here. I am exhausted. I don't know how I'm still awake. My eyes feel like they're shutting. Apologize if I was rambling here tonight, if I didn't make sense on a lot of things. My brain is not fully clicking, and I'm very tired. Thank you for joining me here tonight, though. I really do appreciate that. So, we'll be back here tomorrow. Game 2. We'll get into that tomorrow. Everyone, if you can on the way out, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you tomorrow.